Great. So it seems like I am on the air now. It seems like we have lost Sonia, but I'm going to go ahead because this webinar will be recorded, and then I will be able to make it available to those that weren't able to maybe be here tonight. So let me go ahead and start presenting. So welcome to the Growth Change Mastery for Life, Face Change with Confidence and Clarity. I'm just going to make sure also that my microwave settings is correct. Yes, it seems to be okay. So I'm going to go ahead. It seems like we have Sonia back, so welcome, Sonia. Welcome, Janine. It's great to have you here, and I hope you're going to enjoy the presentation. It's wonderful. It's for me a long journey of just getting here. I've worked tirelessly for the last 2 days to get everything ready, and I'm sure that it is not going all going to go smoothly, but this is my first webinar, and I'm excited and I'm grateful that you are here. I'm going to dive right in because we've lost 15 minutes and I want to be respectful of your time. So let me start with a statistic from a study that was done at the University of Scranton, where they discovered that 45% of people make New Year's resolutions. And okay, I see Janine says she's in, and I hope that Sonia can also hear now and she can participate. So 45% people make New Year's resolutions. Of those New Year resolutions, the is self-improvement, then weight, then money, and then relationships. But the interesting statistic is that only 8% of those people who make New Year's resolutions succeed to make those New Year resolutions a reality. Okay, yeah, it seems like both of you are still here, so I'm going to go ahead. So what I'm going to teach you tonight is 3 basic things, and I'm going to help you to go back after this webinar and be able to do these 3 things. First of all, to be clear where you want to go. Secondly, to be confident that you are able to get there. And thirdly, to be prepared to overcome any obstacles. And we're going to I'm going to share each one of those with you. So we're going to look at the first part actually of the Growth Change Mastery for Life program. We're going to look at the G, R, and O part of that model in this webinar. If you attend till the end, I'm going to give you 2 bonuses for just attending this webinar at this hour at night. I know that Sonia also must have probably not that easiest of time to be able to attend. So just to say thank you that you are attending, I'm going to throw in those 2 ebooks, Growing Your Goals and Thinking It Through. I don't know if there's any questions from your side at this point in time. If you want to ask a question, just pop it in that little chat box that both of you seem to have discovered already. If you have no questions, I'm going to proceed and go to the next part. So I'm going to tell you a little bit more about my story. Both of you actually know me a little bit through the coaching that I've done with you. Here I had still different spectacles than what I have now. But at a very early age, I was interested in how one can improve your life and how we can also change our lives. I read the book of Dale Carnegie. It was actually a book of my grandfather that was on in our home, How to Win Friends and Influence People. And then I also read, when I was a teenager, the books or some of the books of Sigmund Freud, Interpretation of Dreams. So one can probably expect that for a teenager that read those kind of books will need the book of Dale Carnegie, How to Win Friends and Influence People, because quite nerdy to read those kind of books at that time of your life. But I loved to look into how can we change our lives and how the human mind functions. And then I went to the University of Stellenbosch and I studied clinical pastoral care till a master's degree. I also studied theology and continued that desire to know more about the human mind and how we as human beings function. And then after that, I served in a church in the Southern Cape, quite a large congregation, more than 1,000 members, and practiced many of these things that I've learned through the books that I read and also my studies at university. And I counseled also many people during that time. But it wasn't really the environment for me, and I went through a dark period in my own life at that stage, after about 10 years of serving that congregation. And this is actually a self-sketch that I sketched of myself during that time. And I went through a divorce and also then left the ministry and didn't know really what is going to happen for the future of my life. Developed severe depression at that stage. And during that period, I read the book of Tony Robbins, probably one of the biggest and most famous life coaches in the world. And this book really changed my life, Awaken the Giant Within, where he looked at how we can use our mind to change our lives. And then I decided to hire a life coach myself. And so here's Chris Baker. And Chris coached me for quite a long period. And what I've learned from him is to understand also our self, the mechanism in ourselves that very often defeat our purposes. Chris also came to my 40th birthday. And then I just decided to study life coaching, and I got a certified life coach through New Insights Africa. And then just recently, I also went to San Diego, where I studied with Jeffrey Sui, who was a student of Anthony Robbins. And through him, I got the certification for the Master Coach University. What a great and what a wonderful time I had with Jeffrey Sui and in San Diego. So I just want to acknowledge also the people. Well, I wanted to say through this little photograph that I think through coaching, I really connected with my deep inner self again and found my real life purpose. And tonight's webinar is part of that journey. But I also just want to acknowledge all the people that came before me, whose knowledge I used, who helped me to shape the person who I am today, the coaches of the past. My hope for this course that I created is that through it, we can really become students of change. And when we study the different processes of change, that we can really become a master of change when we initiate change in our own lives, but also when change happens from the outside. So let's jump into the first challenge, the challenge to be specific. And if there's one thing that I've learned in coaching, this is this particular challenge. We very often have very vague, and I've got this photo, kind of vague ideas of where we want to go and what we want to do. And it's only when we really take the time to clarify our goals that that they suddenly seem to be more attainable. Maybe you have heard about this study that was done at the Harvard MBA program in 1979, where they ask a number of students, have you set clear written goals for your future and made plans to accomplish them? And so 3% said that they had written goals and plans. 13% said that they have goals but not in writing. And 48% had no goals at all. And it's amazing what the results was when they followed up with these students after, I can't remember now how many years, but it was quite a number of years. And then they discovered that those 13 that had goals but didn't write it down earned twice double than the other 84% that didn't set goals. But the amazing result was that 3%, the 3% that had written goals, earned 10 times more than all the rest of the students that either set goals but not in writing or didn't set goals at all. So it just reinforces the idea that we need to become specific when we would like to move forward in our lives. I was reminded of this again quite recently when let me just go back to my slides. When a medical doctor, it was actually a GP, suddenly had an old gentleman in his office, and he came with his daughter, and he was in and out of the hospitals, saw specialists one after the other. And when the doctor looked at him, he discovered that he's got heart failure on the one hand and diabetes on the other. And he realized that he's actually in a catch-22, because if you apparently work on the heart failure, then you worsen the diabetes. And if you want to treat the diabetes, then you worsen the heart failure. So he knew that he's going to just reinforce this pattern of the old gentleman going to the hospital again, in and out. And suddenly it just occurred to him but maybe ask the question that he was taught as a student. And so he asked the gentleman, so what would you like me to do for you? And both of him and the daughter was quite amazed, and they were waiting for the answer, and they were quite amazed at his answer. He said, "But I just don't want to fall." And the doctor also sat back. He couldn't understand, but this was the goal of the old man. He didn't worry about the heart failure. He didn't worry about the diabetes. He just didn't want to fall. And so then the doctor was very much more clear in terms of what he need to do for this patient. And he eventually got a carer for him, and he was taken care of for the last part of his life. And he was very happy. And he told his wife as well that he was very impressed with this doctor. So be clear about what you really, really want. So I'm going to challenge you tonight to also be clear about what you want for the future. And maybe if you can think about one thing in your life that you would like to change or what you would like to work on. And you probably know about the SMART goals, but I'm going to just quickly run through them again for you. So the first one in SMART goals is be specific. You must be clear about why this is important to you. Why do you specifically want to accomplish this? And what specifically would you like to accomplish? It must be measurable. How much, how many? And how will you know once you have reached this goal that you have set? Attainable? Is the time frame that you have set for yourself realistic? Is it really realistic given your resources? It must be relevant. Does it align with the rest of your life? Is this the right time for it? And here's probably the most important one, time bound. By when will you achieve it? What is the deadline? And I just recently read about time-bound goals, and I'm going to quickly tell you about that and how to do that. I think this is a great, great tool. But okay, if we set smart goals, then, well, this is not to say that I'm smart, but this is to say that if you set smart goals, then you can be happy. And when your goals are clear, then you feel also as though your life has got meaning and purpose. And then you are really smart. So I'm going to challenge you now to set for yourself the SMART monthly challenge. The SMART monthly challenge. Thanks, Janine. Okay, I see Sonia had a problem with the pop-ups in a Mac computer. She will have a look at how to fix that. I bought this program and it's sitting on my shelf for a very, very long time. And when I read about the SMART monthly goals, I decided I'm going to work on this. And so I've set a goal for September 2015 to do that singing course. And so what you do is you be very clear on the small steps that you're going to take each day, because the idea is to focus on one skill that you want to learn and then do that skill every day. In fact, in the first module of this program, I'm going to tell you more about that. This is part also of mastery. And then you literally fill in each one of those things that you're going to do for the rest of the month. And so I've decided to do 4 of the CDs of that singing program in September. And just to reinforce the right brain, I made this sketch very quickly of myself singing. And Janine, there are you as well, because I wanted to share your story with the others. And I hope that you're still continuing with your goals that you have set at the time when I was coaching you. Just amazing photos of you after you attained your goal for the air balloon. And congratulations at that time of reaching your goals. Maybe if I just in short can tell them, if you don't mind, Janine. Janine came to me for coaching, and she set a goal to have more fun in her life, and to step out and take on challenges that she's sometimes afraid of. And she set this goal to as a birthday present, to go on an air balloon. And so there you can see her standing at the air balloon. And I guess that glass of wine is part of the celebration of the birthday. Okay, I'm going to turn to questions. Janine, I don't know if you have any particular questions that you have on the first challenge that I set. Seems like my sharing has now disappeared. How did that now disappear? Now I don't seem to be able to get it back. Just a moment, I just need to get the screen sharing back. The challenges of technology. Okay, I think it's got it back now. Present to everyone. Good. So let's continue. Challenge 2 is evaluate where you are. So once you have set your goal, it's important then to look at where you are and see where you need to travel from here to there. And this is one part of it is all about resources. What is the resources that I have to travel from here to there? Resources that I have myself, but also people that can be resources. And I'm going to tell you a story about how people can actually bring you amazing distance if you just go and look at those various resources that you would like to find. So very often when we have set a goal, then we look at ourselves and we think the cup is empty. And therefore, a great part of my coaching is actually to just help people to see what the resources they already have, because that gives them the confidence to be able to step out and go and chase that goal that they've set for themselves. Because very often, if we look at our situation as it is now and we see it as empty, as if there's no resources, it actually leads to procrastination and we don't take action. And therefore, if we fill that cup of resources and the belief in ourselves, then suddenly it's easy to jump into action and take those first steps. And here's a story. I once went to Burundi, one of the poorest countries in the world, and I met this gentleman, Ambroise, and Ambroise wanted to go and do human rights law, international human rights law. But he didn't know where to start. And he told me, no, it's impossible, and so forth and so forth. And then I just started to ask him, but are there people that you can phone that can actually help you to make connections with this goal, or at least point you in the right direction? And only after 1 hour of coaching, Ambroise went along and he made contact with some people in Geneva that he knew and some other lawyers that he also knew in Burundi. And he recently told me that I think it's the end of September, he will attain a diploma in human rights law through Geneva, Switzerland. And this just reminded me again of how important it is to look at your resources, and especially to look at the people in your network that can help you to reach that goal. Welcome to ask any questions as we go along. Very often when we also set a goal, then we think about all the obstacles. But what about if we can anticipate the obstacles rather than just seeing them as one of the big things that are in our way? And so I want to introduce you to this book, Changing for Good, a revolutionary 6-stage program for overcoming bad habits and moving your life positively forward. Quite a challenging book to read, but I'm going to share with you just the gist of this book. But before I share that, I just want to tell you that I myself made use of a psychologist for a very, very long time during that dark period that I spoke about. But then after a while, I was feeling that as though I was spinning my wheels and as if I'm not really moving forward, but just going backward and remembering all the bad things that happened to me. And I didn't know why it was that I felt so unhappy with the therapy. Well, this book actually enlightened me, because it introduces processes of change that I will tell you more about a little bit soon. And it also talks about the stages of change. And probably the most important part of the book is that effective change is to match the right process for change with the right stage of change. So very simply put, you need to do the right things at the right time. And very often psychologists are insight orientated and awareness orientated. And so they keep on helping you towards insight and awareness. But there's a certain point in the change process where one need to, once you have gained insight, where you need to go into action. And for that part, I think coaching is a much better alternative, unless you also have a psychologist that are also action orientated and able to move you also into action. The Growth Change Mastery for Life program that I've developed actually include this insight and will help you to do the right thing at the right time. And so here on the left-hand side, you will see the stages of change that one find in that book that I've just showed you, Changing for Good. So the pre-contemplation stage, the contemplation stage, preparation stage, action stage, and maintenance stage. And so you can see that in the growth model, I'm going to take you through all 5 of those stages. We're almost at the end of these more educational bits. But here's a quick way to see it at which stage you are. So if you think about the challenge that you are facing and that you would like to resolve, ask these questions. I solved my problem more than 6 months ago. If you are saying yes, then you are in the maintenance stage. Secondly, I have taken action on my problem within the past 6 months. If you say yes, then you are in the action stage. I am intending to take action in the next month. If you say yes, then you are in the preparation stage. And I am intending to take action in the next 6 months. Then you are still in the contemplation stage. And so if you can know in which stage you are, then you can also decide which actions you need to take. And this is exactly what my growth model is going to do and going to help you with, is to take those actions. I forgot actually to say, but I'm going to make you an offer tonight to buy my Change Mastery for Life program, the Growth Change Mastery for Life program. So if I can quickly share with you what you will get in the Change Mastery for Life program, you're going to have 8 modules that's going to be delivered every week. So one of the modules will open every 7 days, and it will also come with a workbook that you will be able to practice what you have learned through the videos and to work on a practical aspect of your life. So the price of that is $1,989 or $152. And I'm going to give you a bonus for attending tonight. For those people that attend the webinar tonight, you will get free lifetime access to upgrades of this course. My intention is really to better the products that I'm going to put out. This will actually be a Change Mastery for Life 101.1. Because I'm also learning as I go along how to put these courses together. And the second bonus will be a 65-minute motivational videos, 6 5-minute motivational videos that I will give in 2016. So during 2016, you will receive 6 5-minute motivational videos. So we can reach our goals if we just set them and take the steps that's necessary to make it happen. And the Change Mastery for Life course will teach you to take those steps. And I'm going to just quickly run through the different modules. I'm not going to take a long time, but the different modules for the course. Module 1 is the goal. Module 2 will look at your reality, where you are at. Module 3, obstacles and options. Module 4, the way forward. Module 6, habits. Module 7, state and spirit. Seems like I've left out the 5th module, which is thoughts. Thoughts, habits, state and spirit. And I will give you a money back guarantee for 30 days. If you are not happy with the course after 30 days, I will give your money back. So I'm going to just also give you a buy button. I don't know if it will appear on the screen. I hope so. So that is the price, 1,989 Rand for the 8 videos and the 3 workbooks. But because the course is in a phase where I'm rolling it out for the first time, I decided to bring the price down, and so I'm going to give it for you for only 9,999 Rand. And the main reason is that I am going to use those that will be doing the course to get feedback from them, to upgrade the course, so that next year we're going to roll it out again. And then but those that enroll for the course now will also get the upgrades for the course as we go along. So that's it. I don't know if there's any questions. I don't know, my question button is not one to open now. And it seems, Janine, that you're still around. Okay, maybe I must pull back the buy button. Doesn't look like it. Okay, Janine, I turned off my camera. I unfortunately can't open the oh, no, there is the questions. I don't know if you got the link. I'm going to also just give the link to you, Janine, if you would like to have the link. Because then you can also read more about the program here. So that's the link, if that link button maybe didn't work that I added. If you experience any problems with the sales process, do let me know by email. I know now that you have been around, and I will make sure that you get the details. So that is the webinar, and this webinar will also be available on this site, this link that you are at the moment, because it was recorded, and I will broadcast it also to the others that didn't come, and then offer them also this program. So thank you for coming. It was great to have you. Hope you enjoyed the webinar, and have a good night and sleep well.